LSU football, Michael Divinity has officially been reinstated to the program as Coach Ed Orgeron was going through a couple of media earlier this week. He was asked on what Michael Divinity's role will be now that he's back.
Well, hey, you got breaking news. Michael Divinity will be back with the team. The final decision was made this morning, so good job of breaking it, man. Nice job.
Thank you, Ed.
Way to go, man. How about that, huh? Good deal. We'll see. Obviously, Mike has been a tremendous pass rusher for us. I know we're definitely going to use him. He'll be back in his role, what he's doing, and we'll see what fits best. But he's definitely going to play for us, and we'll definitely use him in the best situation we can.
Orgeron yesterday hopped on during the bowl games. He was on ESPN College Game Day Wednesday, talking about this Clemson team.
Well, obviously, it's about the team, and this team has worked very hard as our goal at the beginning of the year, although we never talked about it. We knew the national championship would be in New Orleans in our great state of Louisiana. We fought very hard every game to win every game, and which we did, to be able to play in the national championship. It's going to mean so much to our state of Louisiana, our players, and everybody that wore the purple and gold.
I mean, he's not wrong. And here we sit. Just what are we now? 10 days, somewhere around there away. A little math off the top of the head. A week from Monday, man.
Elite 5-star outside linebacker Raesjon Davis of the class of 2021 is committed to LSU. Davis, who's a 6'1", 210-pound prospect from Santa Ana, California, out at Dei High School, went public with his decision on New Year's Day. Davis is rated the #1 outside linebacker in the country for 2021. According to 247 Sports, he becomes LSU's third verbal commitment to the class next season. One more from Orgeron, talking about his squad defensively, how they've changed over the last couple of weeks heading into the championship game Monday night.
You know, Coach Arena did a great job after the Ole Miss game of challenging our defense. We challenged our best players. They have to play their best. Kiliman Chassaw had his best game last week. We're putting more pressure on the quarterback. Our best players are playing their best. The difference in our season right now is the way our defense has been playing.
College football scores from yesterday's Sugar Bowl. Georgia blasted Baylor 26-14 in the Rose Bowl. Oregon beat Wisconsin 28-27, a game that Wisconsin really dominated on the stat sheet. Alabama beat Michigan in the Citrus Bowl 35-16 in the Outback Bowl. Minnesota rode their boat through Auburn 31-24.
Great job by P.J. Fleck and company. First 11-win season for Minnesota since 1903.
6 New Orleans Saints players were listed on Wednesday's estimated injury report for the Wild Card game against Minnesota coming up this Sunday. Eli Apple, Zach Line, Vonn Bell, Marcus Williams, Mike Thomas, and Dwayne Washington were all on the list. The Saints play in the NFC Wild Card against the Vikings on Sunday at noon start.
A couple of names that were absent from that list that have been there recently: Larry Warford, Andrus Peat. What that means, Jordy, is that the Saints will actually have the exact same starting lineup going into the playoffs that they had going into week 1 of the NFL season, which is very rare. Offensively, I should say. The same offensive starting lineup. And then this is an offense that enters the playoffs on fire. They've scored 30 points 6 of the last 7 times out. They averaged 36 a game over the last 7 weeks. That leads the NFL. This is a Saints team that, unlike last year, where you kind of peaked in the middle, this seems to be a Saints team that is peaking at the right time.
Last 2 years have been brutal exits for the New Orleans Saints in the playoffs. The Minnesota Miracle 2 years ago. Last year, the no call in the NFC Championship game. Drew Brees, quarterback for the Saints, was asked about the motivation heading into this year's run.
You know, we have a lot of guys on this team that were here for those experiences, right? And so I think it says a lot about our group to be able to take some of those circumstances and some of those unfortunate things and be able to turn that into something positive and use that as fuel, use that as a way to just bring us closer together, you know, really fight through that adversity to bring out the best in all of us. So from 17 to 18, being able to do that, and then now from 18 to 19, and we're in a position now to, you know, continue to take steps forward to achieve the ultimate goal.
Sean Payton and Mike Zimmer very familiar with each other. Here was Sean Payton talking about the prior knowledge of Minnesota. Does that mean anything going into Sunday's matchup?
Well, we know this. We know there's some similarities in the structure defensively. Zim's been there that whole time and was actively involved in what they do defensively. I'm sure there's some nuances offensively. Felt they rushed the ball real well this year. And so, yeah, there's all the tape from this season, last season, go back as far as you want to, and a lot of it's just a matter of the plan that you're putting in place for this game. But it does feel like a team we played pretty regularly.
Yeah, and you're talking about two of the best pass rushing teams in the entire league going head-to-head Sunday. Vikings are 5th in the NFL with 48 sacks in the year. I did not realize how good the Saints have been this season, 3rd in the league. Saints have gotten the opposing quarterback 51 times this year.
Saints and Vikings noon in the Dome on Sunday for the wild card round. The Pelicans are back in action tonight as they take on the Los Angeles Lakers. Tip-off 9:30 from Staples Center. NBA news, sad news here. David Stern, the NBA commissioner during the most successful period in the league. He died on Wednesday. That was announced by the league. He was 77 years old. Stern died as a result of a brain hemorrhage he suffered 3 weeks ago. His wife, Diane, and the family were around his bedside. According to the NBA, Stern was the commissioner for 3 decades and shepherded the league into the global market. He helped expand the game on the backbone of the NBA's all-star players. It was highlighted by the Dream Team's impact in the 1992 Olympics and really going global into China with Yao Ming and the Houston Rockets at the end of his tenure. So rest in peace, David Stern. Speaking of sad news, it's been a rough week here around ESPN Baton Rouge, around the city and the state. Carly McCord, as she passed away, one of 5 victims Saturday morning in a plane crash. Her services has been announced. Visitation will be held from 9 to 1 p.m. on Saturday, this Saturday, January 4th at St. John Vianney Catholic Church, which is located on South Harrows Ferry Road in Baton Rouge. A funeral mass will follow at 1 o'clock at the same church coming up this weekend for our friend Carly McCord. May she rest in peace. Those are your headlines here on Off the Bench on this Thursday edition presented by All Star Toyota.